This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Welcome back, everyone. We are going to talk about something that has been around for a long time, decades, and scientifically proven to make change in our lives within the way we look, our skin, our faces, to help us with maybe some swelling, some discomfort physically. Let's say you have an injury and you want to heal from that. This is just a few of the things that red light therapy can support. But question, why hasn't the medical community, even though there's research and it's been proven and it's been around for decades, why hasn't the medical community by and large embraced red light therapy? We're going to dig into that. He is the man behind West Palm Wellness Clinic, where they have red light therapy and lots of other services like GLP-1s, weight loss treatments. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention weight loss, red light today.
Good, Steve. Very well. How are you doing?
Real good, real good. I wish I had the answer why the medical community hasn't more embraced this. What do you think the answer is?
Well, I think we probably um both have an idea of, what they call the elephant in the room.
I knew where this is going to go.
Kind of an S sign with a couple bars running through it.
Yes, yes, and
And it's
to
green. It's usually green.
yeah, yeah, and purchases need to be made of something in order to generate that green, and usually it's
Exactly.
medications.
Exactly. I mean, that's where these, unfortunately, like I said previously on one of the other podcasts that I've called around to a couple dozen neurodegenerative clinics, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, autism, that kind of thing. And I was amazed how few of them, I think only one or two out of a couple dozen, had actually even heard of red light therapy, much less that it can be used for what they are actually treating. It's just crazy. Part of it is because when you look at things like, and some of the places I called actually were involved with clinical trials.
Hmm.
Okay. The only people who pay for clinical trials are the pharmaceutical companies.
Yep.
Okay. So why is the pharmaceutical company going to pay for a clinical trial on something that's going to reduce the amount of drugs that people have to purchase for their given issue?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're not going to.
And I believe the companies that make the red light therapy devices don't have those kind of deep pockets to do more trials and to further prove that it is effective. By the way, I want to share with you, and it's funny that we're talking about this. My older daughter is a nurse, and I was just going to text her this morning. She posted the other day she's using red light therapy on her
On
own,
herself?
on
Oh, okay.
herself, and also with like for many different things, but in her post. And I was like, I'm gonna message her today. I didn't use red light therapy. Interesting. Mixing up some natural solution for her face and then uses the red light. I don't know what the solution is, some tea and something, whatever. But very holistic. Um, she's doing it, and she is a nurse and she deals with medications and patients and all of that. But there you go. I bet you there's a lot in the medical community that are using red light therapy, but we don't hear about it so much.
Yeah, you're probably right. And I would think it's probably more the under 40 age
Mm,
bracket
yep.
that has seen some of the things their parents have had to deal with and and actually watched, some people get relief in different aspects for red light therapy. Yeah, and it's great that that's out there. Matter of fact, funny you mentioned the little serum or whatever she made, something I read the other day and printed out, and actually am starting on myself because I am my own test case, um, is using green tea on cotton balls for 20 minutes under the eye before red light therapy. In the paper that I read, where they got results in 10 months of red light therapy, when they added the green tea it reduced that timeline to 1 month for the same results.
Wow. And what were the
And
results? What was the intention?
I think it was just reduction of puffiness and wrinkles.
Okay. Hmm.
But they mentioned that it had to be part of the, because green tea has such good antioxidants built into it. So the skin is getting, the antioxidants plus the oxidation, and then you get the red light therapy on top of that. So I'm starting to do that whenever I can remember. I have a serum that I'm putting under one eye, and I'm putting the green tea under the other, and I'm doing red light. We're going to see what I look like.
Ah, how cool is that? And by the way, and I'm trying to find, I'm looking at her post now, and I definitely will be talking with her later. Um,
Right.
I am pretty sure that it was the green tea solution that you're talking about because I remember
Oh,
tea, and I'm pretty
there
sure it
you
was
go.
green tea.
And there's probably some other things that she's investigated that are good, good peptide like for the skin.
Sure. Wow.
It's like I said, the more I learn about this, and then the more I relate it, even to myself. Okay, I'm a native Floridian, born and raised in South Florida. I'm not a choir boy. I have been a smoker in my life of more than one thing. I have. I'm still a drinker, although I'm not near the drinker I was in my 20s and 30s. Um, I'm accident prone because I move too fast, so I injure myself a lot. But I am probably one of the healthiest 63-year-olds that I've ever met. I am on absolutely no type of drug. My body performs pretty well. I mean, I've got back issues from chronic, construction work I've done. But I truly believe that the fact that I probably spend an average of 5 hours a week out in the direct sunlight, working in the yard, walking the beach with the dog, taking the dog for a walk. I purposely now take off my shirt whenever I'm out walking or doing, purposely take so I can get as much sun as I can because I truly believe the more that as I learn more, that is probably the biggest key next to nutrition, or they're at least equal in maintaining our health into our older years,
Well, to your point, and I'm not validating this just because you said it and we're here,
right?
but I have a friend who is a fitness person. He's a trainer, nutritionist, all of that. And he just did a post and basically said, stop with the sunglasses, take them off, go outside, stop with your devices and be in the sun. He calls it the sun diet. And he's a big proponent, like he's on a crusade now. Just what you said. We need sunlight. Carefully done skin cancer. I get that. I've dealt with that and still do.
Right.
So, I'm more vigilant about it, but all the damage was done back in the day anyway. So, but I still got to deal with it. But, for people who are younger, sunscreen, it's not going to inhibit you absorbing that sunlight, right?
Well, some can. Actually, one of the girls in
Hmm.
my office says it's the skin, the sunblock is one of the worst things to do for your skin.
Well, okay. Well, is that because of all the chemicals in it? Because, there's,
Combination of that and what it blocks, it not only does it block UV, but it also blocks a lot of the beneficial wavelengths,
hmm,
I
hmm.
think, that your body does need. Now, like I said, there's probably been no studies on that, so it's all anecdotal evidence, as they say. But yeah, you just don't. I mean, if you work out in the sun and that's what your job, you're going to have to use that, or wear clothing like long sleeve dark clothing to
Hmm.
help. That's another way. But yeah, that's great. I mean, if you look at if you probably took a look at all the what do they call them, blue zones throughout the world
Yep.
where people live to 110, 120. I'm not sure if in that study they actually had a um, measurement of the amount of time they spend out in nature, out in the sunlight, out in, breathing the fresh air. I know a lot of the areas that they talk about are cleaner areas anyway. They're further from big cities and things like that, so they have
Yep.
better air, better water. But that's something now that I just mentioned, I'm going to try to look up and see how that measured into their longevity.
I bet you it's going to be areas with warmer climate and they're spending more time in the sun. I'm just going to roll that dice. And I started looking into it. When that That documentary was released a couple of years ago. I was going to watch it. I was with somebody at the moment that didn't want to watch it. Then I forgot about it. So I'm going to circle back to
What
that. It
what what documentary?
was on Netflix.
What
Yeah,
what was the name?
I think it's if you type in Blue Zone, it comes up.
Oh, okay. About the
Yeah,
blue zones. Gotcha.
it was a
Okay.
big deal, and it was the beginning of spreading the awareness about it. And really, it was a good documentary. I started watching it, and in these different areas where people live to be, in their upper 90s, 100 or whatever, they started studying it and started looking at their diet. I'll bet you the sun has a lot to do with it. I really do.
Gotcha. And you got to things we don't realize that the sun also imparts beneficial um, compounds, if you will, into fruits and vegetables that use the sun to grow.
Hmm.
So that was a big thing, and then those things is they ate a lot more fresh vegetables, a lot of stuff that didn't have too many chemicals because they grew it, it was picked quickly and wasn't mass produced, so they have to spray the entire crop, and then the uh,
Well,
weeds get.
okay. So I just looked up the five blue zones in the world.
Mhm.
Japan is one of them. Italy is another one. Costa Rica is another one. Greece is another one. And Loma Linda, California. Now, I'm going to say that
Interesting.
most of those areas with a high concentration of people with very uh, high life expectancy, they all seem like they're in a area where you can get a lot of sun and it's a little bit warmer. We're not talking like Iceland or places
Right.
like that. So maybe
Exactly.
I'm trying to put the pieces together here. That's what I'm doing. Mm,
Well, hopefully there's people who we listening to this that will do that themselves as well, and start putting those pieces together and say, maybe there's something to this. Because one of the things that happens as you get older, if you've paid attention to things along the path, is you realize that all these corporations and things, they really don't care about us health wise.
yeah,
If they did, we wouldn't have half the stuff that's on the grocery shelves.
correct.
We, so even though they may talk about how, the customer, they care, they're trying to do the best for the customer, that's still secondary to the profit motive,
100%.
and right. And when that becomes the case, where does that line where is that line staked in the sand, so to speak? So when you're investigating things, you say, well, no, that's a line we're not going to cross because we do care about our customers, at least to that extent, you know? Like something I was just talking with someone else today. You remember probably 4, 5, 6 years ago, high fructose corn syrup was on the radar for many people, has been for a while too, right?
Sure, sure.
Don't it's bad for you. It's bad for you because your body doesn't know what to do with it. Well, you know what they did? Instead of removing it from the items, they changed the name. So people don't know what to look for. Now, if you're looking for high fructose corn syrup, you're not going to find it. What they did is they changed the name to liquid sugar.
Mm,
Because the same things that I used to look at when I was comparing ice cream was the one I would look at. I choose natural vanilla Breyers, which is nothing but cream, sugar, and milk. Right? But when you start getting into the other flavors, you would notice high fructose corn syrup years ago. Now
yeah.
that's no longer in there. And I'm like, huh. And that's why I'm reading further down. Oh, there's liquid sugar. I wonder what that is.
And when we say high fructose corn syrup, it's like, oh, why, I'm not sure what that is. And then, of course, marketing media messages, bad, bad, bad. All it was to sell something else, but the liquid sugar sounds safer. When we
Yep.
think about, well, everything has sugar. It's got to have some sweetness to it, and it's liquid. Okay, great. No, sugar is in my understanding, the number one inflammation causing ingredient. That's where it all
Mhm.
comes from. Sugar.
In excess, you're right.
Yeah.
Now, something so I don't get sued by Breyers or any of these people who are using liquid sugar. I am not for sure certain that liquid sugar is high fructose corn syrup in disguise, but I never saw liquid sugar before. It was
Say,
just
I
sugar.
agree. It
It
was
was
just
just
sugar.
sugar.
I agree with
You
you
know?
100%. Why aren't they just saying sugar?
So I guess my point in all that is saying we have to be our own advocate. We
Yes.
know about it with healthcare, try to get two or three, if you've been given a dire diagnosis, don't just trust the one person. Get a couple, couple opinions, as they say. You know, I don't necessarily, I'll comparison shop two, three, four items before I'll actually purchase something.
Hmm.
We take too much of big corporation, what they say that is for our benefit or not. We take it too much as gospel. And we have to remember that we're not their number one priority. They're shareholders, they're stockholders, the bonuses for all the executives. Those are take front and center over the health.
And it's forever changing because look back, oh, I don't know, 20 years ago, red meat, stay away, red meat, bad, 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 heart attack, cholesterol, bad, bad, bad. And I do believe that that was coming from the Farmers Association, boosting that up so we eat more, fruits and vegetables. Okay. Then there was the whole butter, no, butter, stay away, margarine, substitutes. Now we're back to butter because everybody said, oh, well, that's chemical. And you're right. You need to look closely at everything. You have to be your own advocate. Even organic, we pay more for it. How many times you pick up a package and there's the organic certification on it and it says contains some organic ingredients? Okay, what about the other ones?
Exactly. Exactly. And when I started my organic pest control company, I was looking at, becoming there's a certification organization called OMRI, Organic Material Review Institute, and they would put out, they would label things organic. Well, guess what? I found out that they had listed things or allowed their label to be used on products that still had toxic or carcinogenic chemicals, just a little bit, but they were still able to be registered with that or been able to use that label. So
Yeah. Mm.
yeah, it's tough. Funny you should say butter. I was just looking at a video. There's a guy who does a lot of videos and sells a lot of stuff online, Dr. Stephen Gundry. And he was talking about butter and how there is a compound in butter that is essential to the lining of your intestines,
Hmm.
maybe the colon in specific. It's like butyric acid or something like that. And supposedly 80% of what our body needs in that compound comes from butter or what we eat, because our body doesn't make, as we age, as in many other things as we age, our body doesn't produce as much, whether it's testosterone or whatever. Everything starts slowing down. Our machine is getting old, and
Yep.
so it was just ironic that you mentioned butter, and I just found out that a certain compound in butter is beneficial to the lining of the colon.
But if you went back, oh, I don't know, 25 years, that actually started in the 80s with Fabio. I am Fabio. And he was, I can't believe it's not butter. And that was, oh,
Oh, right.
yeah. He was like
I
the male
forgot he
model
was the spokesperson.
from
Correct,
the
correct.
romance novels or whatever. And we bought into it. Yeah, stay away from fat. There's fat in that butter. No, it's good for you. It's okay. Now it is. um,
Right.
it's
That's the problem with like, even celebrity. People take celebrity endorsements as gospel.
mm,
And whether they are or they aren't, do your own homework. It's easy now to find information. Now, some of that information you may have to, take
filter
with a
it.
grain of salt,
Yeah.
but you have the ability to have information at your fingertips to find out what's in some of these things that you're thinking of eating or have been eating or thinking of buying. I mean, one of my staff used to sell organic mattresses, and she can sit there and for an hour talk to you about the hazards of the latexes and the gels and all the stuff that'll emanate into your body as you sleep on it, So
Have you noticed a major difference when it comes to the way you feel since you've been digging deeper into red light therapy? Just mentally.
uh yeah, it it um it makes me feel good for the fact that I know I don't when I start having issues at some point in my life, knock on wood, maybe not, um, that I know that I have the ability now to treat a lot of these things without having to rely on pharmaceuticals, which, as we know, 90% of the time are just covering the issue, not actually helping
Yep.
or curing the issue. I'm
100%.
actually doing something that is going to start resetting my body back to where it should be or can be. Whether I'll in 5 years I'll look like I'm 25 again, I don't know.
But it's been around for decades.
Yes.
Research has been done on it. A lot of studies have been done on it. I don't see the harm. I can only see the good based on everything I've heard over years, not just since we got together.
Yeah. I mean, a little the worst I think you could have is maybe a little if someone had stayed under too long and got a little bit of a burn, you know? That's
Yeah.
about the only thing I can think of. I mean, even though they have caveats of how much you should do in a certain time, you know, I'm sure there's people that overdo
Yep.
what the recommendations are, and you haven't heard that people are dying from overdoing red light therapy either.
And
So
just final thought here. We talk about the sun, red light therapy. There, it's different wavelengths. So you're not going to do red light therapy and get sunburn. Just want that. Yeah, putting that out there.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it doesn't have the UV rays, which are the ones that cause a lot of the burn. But then again, also from what I learned today, that sunlight doesn't have as much red light therapy as the machines that we use.
Yep.
So
You are in West Palm Beach. Your website is westpalmwellnessclinic.com. Is that right?
that's correct.
Yeah. The downside is you got to go to you physically. Like you can't do this online. No virtual or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Got to be there. But
Um,
you're the go-to on this one for sure. And again, we've talked about some of the benefits. I had no idea that you can use GLP-1 to help you lose weight, but to really a full weight loss regimen treatment, red light therapy added to that. Had no idea they go together.
Yeah, it really accelerates. It really accelerates the weight loss because not only are you working with the body in the hunger part, you're actually expelling the fat from the cells in the body, getting rid of that. So the combination of the two, you know, accelerates that weight loss because you're hitting it from two different fronts, if you will.
Yep.
And then
Amazing.
and then again, the part that I mentioned last time about autism, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, I'll put the call out there again. I'm looking for people in my area who have these issues. I'd like to set up some treatment protocols. Get in touch with us. Let's
Mm,
talk.
yep. Appreciate everything that you've brought to these podcasts, the awareness. Again, it's been around for so long. We need to talk about it more. Lots of benefits. Rick,
Exactly.
I appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
We'll
See
be
you
right
next
back.
time.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.